Tesla has released a new sub $35,000 Model 3 variant in North America, but while it is over $2,600 cheaper than before, it is missing quite a few premium features. I'm John, and this is Cleanerwatt. Originally, Tesla planned to offer the Model 3 with a starting price of around $35,000 before incentives. However, this didn't initially happen, and when it did in 2019, it was for a very short time and only offered around 220 miles of EPA-rated range. More recently, the rear-wheel drive Model 3 in the US market at least costs somewhere around $40,000, which still is a great deal, but it's not $35,000 like Tesla initially planned. With that being said though, with the new IRA point-of-sale tax credits, US buyers who qualify can purchase the long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3 right now for around $35,000 after that tax credit is applied before taxes and fees. So in a roundabout way, a lot of buyers can get a $35,000 Model 3 in the USA. However, buyers in Mexico don't have the advantage of that tax credit, and Tesla recently released a stripped-down rear-wheel drive Model 3 version in Mexico that before the VAT tax and without incentives comes in at an equivalent price just under $35,000 US. Now, I do believe there is a strong possibility that the US market will get a lower cost Model 3, similar to what Tesla is offering in Mexico, and I believe Tesla is just testing it there. I'll discuss that shortly. But first, I want to talk about further details of this new variant and also what premium features it is missing. If you go to the Tesla Mexico website right now, you can see that the rear-wheel drive Model 3 that they're offering right now starts at a price of 749,000 pesos. As compared to the previous rear-wheel drive version that Tesla offered in Mexico, this price is 50,000 pesos cheaper than before, which if you do a currency conversion actually equates to around $2,667 US cheaper. In addition, once again, if you do the currency conversion, this rear-wheel drive version is somewhere around $7,000 cheaper equivalent than the all-wheel drive, the long-range all-wheel drive version available in Mexico. So that is a good price savings. With that being said, though, if you do a conversion of 749,000 pesos to US dollars, that actually comes to a price equivalency in US dollars at just under $40,000. Now, the reason I mentioned a sub $35,000 price in the intro of this video is because this price does include VAT tax, and taxes are not advertised as part of the base price in the USA. So for comparison, we need to actually take out that VAT tax number and look at the true base price of the vehicle. So you can see here that Tesla lists in the price here that it includes a VAT tax of 103,310 pesos. If you do that conversion, that equates to around 5,514 US dollars. So if you subtract the VAT tax from that base price, you can see that it actually starts at an equivalency of US dollars at just under $35,000. So as you can see, Tesla truly is offering a sub $35,000 base price Model 3 in Mexico, which is huge news. However, do note that it is missing quite a few premium features. Now, originally, I believe Tesla planned to offer a Model 3 variant with cloth seating, the cheapest Model 3 variant, the $35,000 Model 3 with cloth seating. But as of yet, Tesla had not previously offered any Tesla variants with anything other than vegan leather seats. However, this new variant, this new rear-wheel drive variant in Mexico comes with cloth textile seating. This is made clear on Tesla's website with this graphic here showing a close-up of the cloth textile seating for the rear-wheel drive version and showing the difference between the vegan seating for the long-range and performance versions of the Model 3. With that being said, I generally prefer cloth seating over leather seating or vegan leather seating, and I do hope this is an option that Tesla offers in the US market because I really like the look of these cloth seats, and I prefer, once again, cloth seats over vegan leather or leather seats. However, the premium features that you miss don't stop there because in addition to that, when it comes to the ambient lighting in the vehicle, Although the long range and performance versions of the vehicle and all variants of the Model 3 in the US market include multicolor ambient lighting that is customizable, with this rear-wheel drive base version in Mexico, it now only has white ambient lighting. Beyond that, with this new variant, there is no ventilated seats, no heated seats, and no heated steering wheel. Now, to me, the ambient lighting only being white versus multicolored is not that big a deal, but not having heated and ventilated seats and not having a heated steering wheel, that's a pretty big deal, and I could live without those, but those are great features. So I believe those are really significant differences right there that may make a difference for a lot of buyers in Mexico to go ahead and go with the long-range all-wheel drive version instead. But nonetheless, there are actually more features that it lacks. The base version in Mexico does not have the rear screen, but it just has the AC vents there with USB-C charging ports, as compared to the long-range and performance versions, which have that screen in the back. And of course, this rear screen is included with all variants in the US market right now. When it comes to the sound system in the rear-wheel drive version of the Model 3, and this is actually the same as in the US, includes 9 speakers and 1 amplifier, as compared to the premium audio system, which is in the long-range, all-wheel drive, and performance version, which has 17 speakers, 2 subwoofers, and 2 amplifiers. Beyond that, this new version only has acoustic glass in the front windows, instead of the 360-degree acoustic glass that is offered in the other variants. With that being said, here's a chart that he created comparing the features for the standard range rear-wheel drive Model 3 here in the US market, what's offered here, versus this new version that's offered in Mexico. Once again, you can see that there are quite a few premium features that you don't get with this new version. In addition to that, here's a chart comparing the features that you get with the standard range rear-wheel drive version of the Model 3 in Mexico versus the long-range all-wheel drive and performance Model 3s in Mexico. Once again, those same features are lacking those same premium features, and the difference there in the sound system is shown as well. Okay, now with that being said, will a stripped down Model 3 version with less premium features ever be available in the US market for a lower price? Well, I believe it will eventually happen, but right now there's actually not a need for it. And I will discuss some things that I believe could change this, but for now, it's not needed. The reason why it's not needed right now is because the standard range rear-wheel drive version of the Model 3 has LFP batteries imported from CATL in China. Because of this, the car does not qualify for the $7,500 tax credit in the US market. However, as you're probably aware, Tesla recently added a long-range rear-wheel drive version of the Model 3 that does qualify for that $7,500 tax credit, which makes it around $35,000 before you add in the delivery fee, taxes, etc. for those who qualify for that tax credit, which actually makes it cheaper than the standard range rear-wheel drive version in the USA for most buyers. So because of that tax credit, Tesla already offers a better variant of the Model 3 in the US market for that same rough price point as what Tesla is offering that base Model 3 at in Mexico. So it's unneeded right now. Tesla may make LFP batteries in the USA in the future, as has been rumored in the past, or there is the potential for them to source them from somebody else who makes them in the US in the future. But right now, because that LFP equipped Model 3 vehicle does not qualify for that $7,500 tax credit, even if Tesla dropped the price of the standard range rear-wheel drive Model 3 in the US by like $2,600 or so, after the tax incentive, the long-range rear-wheel drive version would still be cheaper. So it doesn't make sense right now, but with that being said, I do believe there are a few factors that could change the math here and actually make this version show up in the US market in the future, and I actually believe this will happen. For example, a new US president could change or remove the tax credit that's currently in place, which would then make this version make a lot of sense in the US. For example, they could take their current rear-wheel drive Model 3 in the US market and drop that down by around $2,500 or maybe even $3,000 with less premium features. And without that tax credit taken off of the long-range rear-wheel drive version of the Model 3, there would be a big enough price difference there that I believe that would be a good value for a lot of buyers. Or, for example, Tesla could decide to stop selling the standard range rear-wheel drive version of the Model 3 in the USA and only offer the long-range rear-wheel drive version with the basic interior features like the vehicle in Mexico, and that could allow them to drop the price a few $1,000s, maybe $2,500, maybe $3,000. And if that vehicle still qualified for the US federal tax credit, that would make the long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3 start in the low $30,000 price point. I could definitely see Tesla using this as a demand lever in the future if the economy continues to slow down and if they need to drop the price down to appeal to more buyers. I could see this making complete sense for Tesla to do this in the future, and selling this stripped down, less premium feature rich Model 3 version in Mexico could be a test to see what kind of demand Tesla has for this vehicle in that market in preparation for bringing that vehicle to other markets. With that being said, I would love to know what you think. If Tesla were to offer the long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3 with less premium features like this version in Mexico and charge $2,500 or $3,000 less than they do now, would that be something that you would go for as a buyer, or would you rather just stick with the premium features included with the version that's offered in the US market right now? Let me know in the comments section below if you'd be excited about a Model 3 variant with less premium features for a lower price. I'd also like to know, do you think Tesla will ever offer a Model 3 like this available in the US market in the future? Let me know in the comments section below. I also want to say thank you to all of those of you who support me through Patreon. Your support makes a big difference and does help make these videos possible. If you'd like to find out more about how you can support my work through Patreon, I will put a link in the video description. Thank you so much.